to another episode of Women in Focus, and our woman in focus today is a powerhouse. Her name is Simran Walia. Let's meet her. How are you doing, Simran?
I'm doing great. Meeting you is a pleasure, Sushma ji.
It's a pleasure for me as well. I've heard so much about you, and Parul and I were talking the other day, and she said this is a woman that you should talk to on Women in Focus, and I'm so glad that you agreed to be our Woman in Focus today.
Thank you so much for giving me time.
So, politics is also something that interests you, and you ran in the city of Surrey?
I actually ran for City of Delta.
Delta?
Yes, for council in 2018.
Wow. And then why did you not go again for it?
Well, I was focusing on my boys. One of my older son was going through high school at that time.
I see.
And I wanted to give my complete focus to his education and his grades so that he gets into a good university, which he has managed to get into one. So he's starting university this year.
So a proud mother, huh?
Very, very proud, yes.
That's very good. And especially when children are your main focus, obviously, you want to see that they achieve what they want to.
Yes. I mean, there are other ways that you can serve the community. So I'm always in the community volunteering in these years, and wanted to focus on his education, and many other things came up where, you get to talk to other high schoolers, you get to know their perspective. So I was learning all this while as well.
Now, as a parent, I understand you're a single parent, and you've got two kids?
I have two boys, yes.
Two boys. Now, you're also an entrepreneur. So do you keep your own hours, or do you have a set plan to do, work from Monday to Friday, no Saturday, Sunday? How is it?
I'm a workaholic. I like to achieve. I'm a sponge for life, so I'm always learning. I work my own hours, yes. I do take contract work from different big companies, Lululemon, Amazon, Microsoft. These are some of the clients that I worked with. And the work is never ending. On the weekends, you're always preparing for what can I do next, take kids out and have a good conversation with them. So I think I'm always up and running.
So let me take you to your childhood.
Okay.
Where were you born?
I'm from New Delhi, India.
Oh,
that's
wow,
where
so
my
you're
childhood
Delhiite.
is. I'm a Delhiite.
Okay.
Yes.
So being born in Delhi, and when did you come to Canada?
Well, I first came to US.
Okay.
So my family background is both my parents were working parents. My mother retired as a nurse.
Oh, wow.
Yes, my father was working with US Embassy as a construction contractor.
Right.
So I've done some contract work for him at US Embassy, like an employee of him.
Really?
So I learned quite a bit from him. He taught me how to fix cars and stuff as well. So I have a very diverse background. Before I came to US, I came for computer sciences job, and I've done 2 degrees back home in India. So my education took me everywhere.
So how many in the family? Mom and dad and?
Yeah, I have 2 other siblings, an older brother and a younger sister. Both are very well educated. My brother is in California. He runs his own IT company. And my sister is back home. She used to work for Canadian Embassy there. So yeah, very well educated.
And so IT seems to be a main focus within the family, isn't it? Because you also sort of went towards IT.
Yeah, my brother went, and my father wanted me to follow his footsteps. So he studied at University of Mississippi, and then when I was we are only 1 year apart.
Okay.
So my father said, you know what, he's doing great, so why don't you do this as well? So yeah, so I followed his footsteps.
What is it about IT that interests you?
I think what interests me is the data that we collect and how you make intelligence out of it. That was my passion. So I made my career into business intelligence, which is where companies collect all this data and then make insights out of it. They can predict the future, looking at the past data, and make better informed business decisions. So that's my forte.
So I bet you are pretty up with ChatGPT as well.
I use it quite a bit, actually.
And how do you use it?
I use it to make pitches, my presentations, and resumes. I do help a lot of young kids make their resumes, and ChatGPT does a wonderful job in that. So there are many use cases that ChatGPT is very useful for right now.
So now, being an IT, can I call you a nerd?
Yes, you can. I truly am.
So you must have, so you understand the nuances
Yes.
that are associated with the IT industry. Now, do you have to be good at math to be interested in IT?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all. Yeah, yeah.
But isn't it all data, and isn't data all?
It's not really math per se, but it's more about how you organize. You know, in our life also we compartmentalize things.
Yes.
We organize data or our life based on, like, our work data is different and our work personal life is different, and you know, we organize things. So this is the way data is organized as well, in different functional components. That fascinates me quite a bit because I can relate my life to the way we organize or strategize for data. So it's pretty similar, and it's eye-opening. It's very mellowing as well.
So can you do, you talked about predictions, looking at the past and predicting the future. So algorithms also come within it? So
Yeah.
is that what it is? Is that what Facebook and all the other?
Yeah, so these days, you know, the algorithms are already built in. So at this time and age, if you want to get into computer sciences, you can do without learning the algorithms as well, because the system will do it for you, unless you are, you know, 10x nerd than I am, and then you go into real programming and build the raw structure. But but a lot of people can do it. My son is going into computer sciences as well, and he's not much of a coder, but
Right.
he can still thrive in this industry because it's already done, and he can focus on data management or other fields that have just opened up in the
Can you
lab.
give me an
Yeah.
example of what data management, in what industry data management is used? All the industries?
Data is pure gold, and
Yeah.
it's used in every industry. Every industry has data. Your
Yeah.
personal life has data. I have worked with education system. I worked for UBC.
Right.
I've worked in mining industry. I worked for Hitachi there. So data is everywhere and very valuable, because that way you can see where you're heading to. You can make proactive decisions based on what's coming forward for you. Not many things change, like in stock market. You can predict what's going to happen to a certain degree based on the data that you have from the past. So there is a certain level of predictability in life and in all fields. But yes, there's always room for surprises.
So some surprises.
Yes, yes.
We're talking to Simran Walia, and she is amazing as far as data is concerned. But I will ask her more questions about that. Shall we take a short commercial break and come back?
Absolutely.
Get the program paid for.
Yes.
Simran Walia is our Women in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our Women in Focus today is Simran Walia, who is in the IT industry. Now, IT industry has changed the way we look at life, the way we lead our life, in fact, if I may say so. And the advent of the boom in the IT industry probably started way back in the 80s, or am I right?
Yeah. I remember when I first touched a computer, I was doing DOS programming, like zeros and ones.
That's right.
Floppy disk and whatnot.
Yes,
Yesterday itself, I was watching a documentary, and I see, you know, how far we have come in this sector with technology. We are almost pretty much, our lives are dependent on it.
Yes. Simran, you talked a little bit about two of your kids now. Being a single parent, it must have been a little difficult to bring them up and prioritize your life. How am I? That's where data comes in. I'm going to prioritize my day-to-day life, my work life, my kid life, my love life.
Yeah, so it was pretty challenging in the beginning because I was very much a slave of the clock. So 6 to 7, I have to do certain things, and it cannot go 15 minutes over, and then, you know, dropping them at school and then picking them up from daycare. And I live in Ladner, so there's the tunnel traffic. Oh. So I have to cross the tunnel, you know, I cannot be 5 minutes late before crossing, otherwise I cannot pick up my child at the right time.
Right.
So I think I didn't sleep for the last 7-8 years because everything was clock-based, very much so, yeah. So I had to balance everything, quite challenging.
When did you worked with many organizations. You worked with UBC, you mentioned Hitachi. But you branched out on your own.
Correct.
And Was that out of necessity or was that out of passion?
You mean my volunteer work in the community?
No, your own business.
My own business. I have, that's my 20 years of work.
And I want to talk about your volunteer work as well. So remind me that.
Sure. Yeah, in business, because I worked in Silicon Valley as well for quite some time. So that was my base. I started contacting, had made contacts and networks within the consulting world. So IT is also a small world. In Vancouver, even smaller. But so I know people everywhere. We all run into each other quite often. Yes.
What about your volunteer work? That is your passion?
That's my passion.
What do you do?
So I follow my father's footsteps. I have volunteered in many organizations. I've volunteered at City of Delta in 2 committees, Parks and Rec Committee and Seniors Sub-Advisory Committee, where we used to plan programs for seniors.
Yes.
And also I have a Save Canadian Kids group that I actively work on. To educate parents on the drug use and vaping in schools. I was very close. I'm very passionate about this one because, the kids are our future.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents are clueless of what's happening in the community and what's happening with their child's life. Because we are all making ends meet and that touch with our own kids has been lost somewhere. I'm a very big advocate of communication with our kids, and I kind of mentor parents and also high schoolers on this topic.
Do you think it's sort of a pandemic as far as the drug trade is concerned within our schools?
It's bigger than we think. So I've done some research recently where the drugs that are meant for the people with suffering from serious drug addiction is reaching high schools. It's given out as safer supply in the community in Vancouver East Side, but the people who are addicted to drugs, they're not taking those safer supplies. They're actually reselling it on the streets to people who give it out in the high schools. So the drugs that is not meant for them, their bodies are not ready for it, is reaching high schools at this point, and 99% kids vape in school. And the way they think about vaping is that it's not even harmful. So this needs constant conversation about this to parents. Parents don't even know what a vape looks like. They don't know what a vape is. It's an electric cigarette. So there's a lot of education that needs to happen, especially in even South Asian community, but other communities as well, where we are clueless. The vapes are coming in the shape of a marker or a USB stick. Because it's specially catered to the kids. So
the younger generation.
Yeah, so it's very alarming. We think that the fire has not reached our home, but I think the smoke is killing everybody more than the fire itself.
Holy macro! I didn't realize it was that serious.
It is very serious, yeah. In fact, not only Canada, but it's Australia, USA. Every country is battling with it. Some countries are bringing innovative solutions for it. For example, banning fruit-flavored vapes, because it plays with your mind that fruits are good for you.
Yes.
So there's fruit-flavored. It doesn't leave any residue smell like a cigarette would. And the kids are marketed on social media like Snapchat or Instagram that it's not harmful. This much nicotine is good for you. The other day I was on a radio station and I was talking about it, and a person who owns a vape shop called me and sharing stats that these vapes are loaded not just with nicotine, they're coming from China, and they're loaded with a lot more harmful substances. So there's lots to uncover there, lots to talk about within the community.
And do you think our community is willing to talk about it, or?
They are now. Yeah. Every time I've talked about it, a lot of mothers have reached out to me. These are all because mothers are always closer to their kids, and sometimes when they find out their child is vaping, they're openly talking about it, and they really want to help them.
Is it addictive?
It's very addictive. Nicotine on a 14 to 18-year-old body is very addictive.
Yeah.
And these vapes also have advanced. So they come as a disposable vape which lasts 1 week.
Yeah.
And it costs these kids $30 only. So then imagine a child in high school in 8th to 12th grade coming up with $120 out of their pocket. So it's alarming. It's very alarming, where a lot of people should be talking about it very openly.
Wow, you brought something that is very troublesome, isn't it?
Yes.
We're talking to Simran Walia. We'll take a very short commercial break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our Women in Focus today is Simran Walia, who is an IT expert. We were talking about your passion, which is helping community, helping people. Out of your busy schedule, how much time do you give to volunteering?
Every now and then, whenever
Yeah.
I can, I do a lot of, because I'm sitting behind a computer,
Yes.
I can do a lot more research, and I try to reach the wider audience through, the media channels and whatnot, because that way I can cover more people, and I can educate them and empower them with knowledge that they cannot have otherwise.
Do you think it's because you are associated with IT that you've been able to excel in the other field as well?
It has certainly helped because I'm closer to the internet. I'm
Right,
sitting
and
on it every day,
Yeah.
and that's my livelihood. So it has certainly helped. Yes.
Talking about your livelihood, you started your own company.
Yes, I
What
did.
is it called?
It's called Big Data Solutions.
Oh, so you are helping other people find their own data solutions.
Yes, that's what my company does. I work with different companies building their data platforms,
Right.
and how to structure that data, how to make it scalable.
Right.
So this is my expertise. I was at UBC for 5 years doing that work for them, and now I have my own company, and I work for Lululemon now.
You mentioned quite a few companies, Lululemon being one of
Yes.
them, and you mentioned Google and Amazon and
Yes.
companies like that. What sort of work would you do for them?
So again, building their data platforms,
Right.
if they already have a data platform, but it's not scalable because of the way it's built. So we restructure how, the
I
strategy
see.
itself. So I basically go there and do product management. I do strategize their data platforms. And these are long-term projects that we
Right.
do. I've just ventured into recruiting as well because I have that based network in IT world.
Right.
I do help young talent find work as well in this industry.
So people can come up to you and you can introduce them to.
Absolutely, yeah. I mentor them with the interviewing
Right.
process. I get them on board. They can join my company and then represent my company into
Right.
different, contract work.
So when the internet or when the computing opened up for everyone, I mean, there used to be computers that used to take a whole room, and now it's a small computer. Your phone is a computer, isn't
Right.
it? You can do so many things with that. Where do you see, because you can see the past and you can see the future, where do you see this going?
Oh, this will even go away from the hands. Right now, the phones are in the hand, the knowledge is in the hand. Well, there are chips being designed as well that are being talked about, yeah.
In the head.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised if people would be willing to do that, to take those chips
Really?
as well. Because everybody wants to know knowledge at their fingertips, and they want to excel with that knowledge. I mean, these chips are being designed right now. We never thought of autonomous vehicles, and they are here already.
That's right.
They're driving themselves. So I feel that whenever there's a breakthrough in technology, the jobs shift. Right now, the traditional jobs that we have, they will shift, and people will educate themselves and move to the new job sectors. For example, influencers, they did not exist 5 years ago.
No.
Right, and a lot of these jobs were non-existent 10
Yes.
years ago, and today they're a big thing. Digital marketing has come up very often, and people are making money off of it too.
That's right.
So the new job sectors will keep opening with the advance of technology, and people will adapt. Look at us after COVID. Right, and we would think that in remote areas people would not be used to cell phones.
Yes.
Today they cannot live without cell phones.
Well, look at the world. I mean, the entire world has changed, hasn't it? I mean, you talked about COVID. People have gone from, being party animal to just being solitary.
Right.
And opening up again. But that period when they had to be in solitary, a lot of thinking has been done.
A lot of thinking has been done. Good thinking has been done. It has also caused a lot of mental issues because we are social animals by nature, but confined to your own place. A lot of people are not used to sitting by themselves. You know, getting to know themselves is scary sometimes.
Yes.
Right. So it was a very challenging period. A lot of people tipped on the scale towards, you know, a lot of mental health issues, but a lot of people thrived. They learned new skills. They went online. A lot of people knew how much education is available free online.
That's
so a
right.
lot of people have done that.
Yeah.
So depends on where your energy is going. People have actually in a better place. They are in a better place today, which they did.
Now, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh, I see myself growing my business tenfold.
Yes.
Because there's a lot more networking that can be done. We can help each other grow very, very fast. A lot of kids, especially you know, university, who are just coming out of university or self-taught as well. You know, the trend is changing where you needed a college degree really to get a job. A lot of people are self-trained these days. They're sitting on a lot of talent. Elon Musk once said that I don't really look for degrees. I look for the mindset that people carry.
Right.
So these days, you know, there's more chances of getting into an industry very, very fast, and IT is never going to go anywhere. So
It's a fast expanding, like the universe.
yeah, exactly. And the data world is just blown out of proportion because everything is data. All the content, video content, audio content people are creating, this is all data, right?
Yeah. So when you, I'm going to go back again to data because it fascinates me. So when you talk about data, obviously it's content as well. And the content is data.
Yes.
And data is content, in
Yes.
other words, right?
Yeah, it pretty much tells how people are thinking. You know, I was watching $1 billion Code yesterday on Netflix, and it shows all these Google services like Google Earth and everything, they are free, but actually they're monetizing on that data. It's free for the end consumer, but really they're doing targeted ads on what you search on it.
That's right.
So if you have searched for a restaurant, you know, they are monetizing from that end of the thing. So data is pretty much the new gold. It's new gold.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, it is.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Well, it's fascinating talking to you, and I wish you all the best. And where do you see your children going? In the same field, or?
Well, my son is going to do computer sciences,
Right.
who's just gone to university. He's fascinated to see where he can take it into the automotive industry because he loves cars. And my younger one, I don't know where he's going to go,
Yes.
but definitely I think the kids are much smarter than we were at their age, for sure.
Well, that a true mother speaking there. Thank you so much for being our Woman in Focus today.
Thank you so much for having me, Sushma ji.
Simran Walia has been our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.